Better now. How's it going, y'all? Welcome to another Thursday weekly Aksys stream. My name is Sami, and today we're gonna do a bit of a Hyde overview. Already failed at the palette. What are you talking about? What do you? Okay, hold on. Before we continue on this, I'm gonna start beef with people on this being the best Hyde color that nobody uses. Are you kidding? This is the best Hyde color. This is the. He's got the blue tie. The belt matches the pants. The shoes are a good color. The projectile's blue. So, like I said, like as a quick overview of what you're looking at with this character. This character has like two really important things that I think you should note that become pretty darn important as you go through learning the tool set, which is one, that the Vorpal trait, or the not the Vorpal trait, the unique trait. There you go. Vorpal trait's the buffed version of it. The unique trait is that I should put them on block. That's not block. None of these will be block, actually. The unique trait is that his sword normals chip. So, like, unlike other characters, where normals will not chip, as you can see, right? This character has a set of sword normals that will chip. So this character can do damage while putting people in block, which with normals, which is unlike any other character. Which means that a lot of the times you can get a lot of value out of this character by just simply doing something like this and just resetting into more sword normals and stuff like that. This will make more sense when you look at moves like this, which generally seem like a fast mid poke, but kind of weird in this situation, right? It's a high 2B, looks kind of weird. This is kind of a slow poking move, so it's like, why would you replace this with this? But when you realize that all of these do chip, it kind of makes way more sense. Tuning in to watch 66C on loop. Oh my god, we'll get to that move in a second. We'll get to that move in a bit. Okay. So, just real quick. This is 5A. Oh, that is 5A. 5A. This is one of the farthest reaching like A normals in the game, but it is 7 frames, so it has that detriment. However, it's one of those things where it like allows you to punish some things that other characters cannot because of being like -4 and you shield it and this thing reaches where other characters don't. That stuff's kind of nice. It is a mid despite it poking the feet. It looks like it's supposed to be like a standing low. And it has more range than its 2A, so like technically speaking, it's probably your fastest. It's your faster ranged move. There you go. So you're looking at something like that. For a lot of the times, what you'll see this. You'll see this move use something like this. All right, where you can rebeat into 5A and sort of poke people out. The other nice thing is that it sets up really nice for something like that. Just note that, yeah, the hitbox isn't as good as you think it is. That's it. Listen, we'll talk about 66C. I think 66C is a very interesting case in you know what 66C is? 66C is a very interesting case in balancing. That's my thought on 66C. I'll explain later. 5B. So 5B, another sword normal, so it has a value. So it has value in the sense that it can be used for chipping people out. But for the most part, it's like a normal. It's got a nice hitbox. Like, it's kind of... It's fast for what it is. It has a nice, like, forward arcing hitbox. But for the most part, you're just going to use this for, like, punishes, like 5B start blocks, punishes. You'll use this for block strings, combos, really nothing else. It's disjointed? I could see that. But yeah, for the most part, like it's not really like one of those things you like just throw out in neutral a tremendous amount. Usually that role ends up being like reserved for other buttons, but it's a good button. It's a good button. It does good amount of damage. It has a nice hitbox for combos, that sort of thing. All right. Oh boy, 5C. This is an important button. This is an important button. This is one of your chargeable buttons as well. So, just like any other button has the or any other sword normal, it has the ability to chip, which is nice and very nice because if you full charge it, you're able to be +1 on full charge, which is super duper good. So that you're able to do stuff like this. You're able to reset into pressure and stay relatively safe. Used a lot in combos because it does more damage. So if you full charge it, it does slightly more damage than it does if you just press it normally. The normal button has like a super nice hitbox though. Like it's reaches quite far. It steps Hyde forward, so it's hard to whiff if you're in that like area where you know it's going to be blocked. It's super hard to whiff. And then if you charge it, just like a lot of other charge moves, you see like I'm whiffing it right here, but if I full charge it, I'll block it. Just like a lot of other moves, when you full charge the move, it becomes slightly bigger. A lot of the times when you use it for mix-ups and you use it something like this, you're basically mixing up the idea that you won't be like continuing the block string, but instead you're resetting the pressure, which is very strong for Hyde because Hyde doesn't really have a tremendous amount of mix-up within just like doing block strings. He doesn't force a mix-up on opponents very heavily. So when you're able to do something like this and put them in +1 in front of your face, then you're able to really make people scared about doing other things. That sort of thing. This would also note that, or this also lets you note that this is 7 frames. So a lot of the times 5 and 6 framers can beat you out if they make a right read on what you're doing. But +1 forces the option, right? So +1 forces the opponent to do something or think about something, which is its main strength. Other than that, it's used for combos. It makes frame traps, like I said before. Super good when you rebeat it with 2A. So you can do stuff like this. Oops. Come on, 6B. There you go. That will catch a lot of people because of not necessarily the frames, but the speed of what is happening in front of you. If I remember correctly, charge 5C into 2A is +4. Yeah, that seems pretty good. So I didn't have the frame data in front of me, so I didn't know, but I know it's good. So yeah. Super duper good. An uncharged 5C 2A is only -1, which is pretty common for a lot of the 5C moves, no? Like 5C 2A or 5C is like -1, -2. It's just that Hyde's is super good because it's like so good in his effective range. Like when you're -1 here, like are you really at a disadvantage as Hyde? Not really. Especially considering you have a absurd backdash. Super duper good backdash. Okay. So getting to crouching normals. This is probably the move that kept this character alive in EL. And exists now as the move that is like so good because it's Good God, this move has great range. So this is his 2A, right? I'm making jokes, but really, this move really does it all. It's his fastest it's his fastest normal since this normal is 7 frames, right? So this is his fastest normal. It has great range for a low. It's good for stagger pressure. In fact, it's probably his only stagger tool. And it is fantastic because it has just great frame data at 2 frames. So doing stuff like that is almost impossible to deal with because this also exists as well. You here for Kefan Shantain lied to? Thank you for letting me know. Damn, I always forget something. I always forget something about the stream. Alright, Max, I need to see you in the next Enchante stream, alright? Don't you... 2 weeks from now, Enchante stream. I better see you there. I think we're getting to that... my friends were telling me we might be getting to that one point where I might actually, like... see something, tear jerky, as they say. Okay. So. Yeah. 2A is super good. I say this because this character doesn't really have a lot of ways to mix people up outside of strike throw pressure. Strike throw pressure is probably his best mix up outside of like a knockdown situation, right? So what you're really looking for is stuff like that, right? Or 2A is just like incredible for tick throws, strike throw, stuff like that. Stagger pressure. It really does it all for this character. Now that being said, like I was saying before when I was saying with Akatsuki, right? Where it's like you have multiple tick throw moves with Akatsuki because you have like 5C, you have close 5B, you have 2A, you have 5A. You have all these moves that are so good at setting up tick throw pressure, right? With Hyde, it's literally just this move. And that's fine because the character is supposed to supposed to play the game more at like the mid-range, be able to poke people at these ranges like that. So it's fine for him to have that. However, that means you just have to know that the opponent knows exactly what you know, which is that this move is his only stagger pressure move. So it's like using that becomes more valuable, right? Because you get to reset back into 2A or reset back into pressure. Holy shit. Sorry. Okay. Reset back into pressure. So this gets people to mash because they want to take their turn back, right? Which is really, really nice that this move has all of that built in the one move. However, like I said, it means that when they see this move that they expect certain things. They expect a strike throw mix-up, right? So that's where you sort of apply your mix-up. So every time I play a Hyde, I lose about 2.5k in chip alone. Yes, yes. It is, like, I think it goes understated how absurd it is to do that much damage on block. It goes immensely understated. I'm not saying it's actually like 2.5k, but like, for the most part, as a character, it's kind of insane that you get to do something like this, right? And then reset back into like effective pressure, or effective range, I mean. So you get chip. You get to chip people out, and then you get to sit back into your effective range, which is kind of insane. That's really the scary part about this character, is that he gets damage doing what he wants to do. Because, like we're saying, even with 2A being super good, the strike throw mix-up is the only thing that he has when he's in your face like this. So when you get into this range back here, he has to sit back and sort of play neutral again, which is great for the character. He loves playing neutral. But it's the scary part is that he gets to chip you out while he does that, which is scary. Okay. So yeah, we talked about a lot. This is your go-to, solves your problems, takes your kids to school, does your taxes button. Crutch on this button a lot, but you'll learn when to spice it in once you get better. But early on, like, early on I just did this a lot. And let me tell you, it opened up more people than you'd think. Alright. Woo, 2B. This is a weird move. This is a weird move because 3B exists, but we'll talk about that later. But 2B you would think is like, oh, this is the farther range low poke. But actually, it's just a normal footsie button that comes from crouching. The good thing about it is that it's because it's in crouching that, you know, it'll be easier to move and use in some situations, but harder to use in other situations. Great recovery overall for a ranged move that much. As you can see, like, there's other moves that have way more recovery than 2B that kind of used in the same idea. Great hitbox. I would say the only problem with that is that it's actually just a mid, right? But that's not a bad thing. You use it in combos too, for certain situations. Because of how high the hitbox goes, it's nice in that stuff. They're all just mids. They're all just mids, except for this and this. Those are the only two non-mids. In CLR, they buffed the stagger window a bit. I remember that being a problem in ST, where Hyde players were like, because the stagger window wasn't huge, that... Ooh, sorry. Because the stagger window wasn't huge, that it was kind of had limited use in terms of pressure and frame traps. But... Oops. Yeah. Way better now. 2C. One of the other two lows. Am I right? He has two lows? I'm trying to think. Oh, no, 3 lows with 3B. One of his other lows, this is just mainly used in block string and combos. The nice thing about it is that, like a lot of other C moves, it moves them forward. So if you're trying to use it in its effective range, which I wouldn't advise to use it as a footsie tool, but rather that it's another way for you to get closer while you're blocking, or while you're putting an opponent in block string. So it leaves you closer like this, which is nice. Other than that, it's really just used in combos because it has a knockdown property to it. Other than that, like, you know, for the most part, it's slow. It's kind of slow. It does move them forward. It doesn't have as much range as some other 2Cs in the game that have similar properties to it. I would say stick to this in block string and combos, and then you'll learn when to use it in footsies. It'll be few and far between, but you'll be able to use it. It's a C button, and it has a nice, and the nice thing about, like, Under Night is that a lot of the buttons that are, like, knockdown trip buttons like this usually have nice vertical hitboxes for combos. So you get to see it a lot like that. You'll see, like, oops. You'll see 3C, 3B2C quite a bit. Alright, air normals. Ooh. Alright, we have jump A. Super good air to ground normal. Fastest air normal. And it hits twice, so it makes it slightly easier to confirm off certain hits. You can cancel the first one if you really want to. But for the most part, gives you the ability to, like, put someone in block slightly longer while you're in the air, so that you don't have to, like, use all 3 air normals in order to keep people blocked in the air, or keep people in block while you're in there. So you can do stuff like that, which is nice. Really, the two great things about it is that it can, with like a good if you're sitting in this range, right, where Hyde likes to play, there you go. Doing something like Assault Jump A is like to beat something out is a constantly scary tool because it's super easy to confirm. It's got a great air to ground hitbox. What else is there to say about it, really? Hitting twice makes it easy to confirm. Great air to ground hitbox. 2 hits makes it super easy to, like, basically link into a grounded normal. Yeah, it's just like a great air normal. Jump B. This isn't as good as you would think it would be. If this normal, and this normal does exist in Blaze Blue, but if this move existed in Blaze Blue, or if this character existed in Blaze Blue, this normal would be freaking killer. But it's not. But the nice thing about it is that it covers him, like, it basically covers his butt with a hitbox, which is really nice. So in that sense, it's a nice move like that. It's a good way to... It's useful in closer assault pressure, where Jump A becomes not as useful, and you want to go for something that usually has heavier block stun. You know, but obviously be warned that it doesn't have the horizontal range that 2A does, right? So you can't be using it like that. But it has a more specific use. Stuff like that. Yeah. You'll use it in combos because it has a nice amount of hit stun. But other than that, you won't really see it that much unless you're like around here in this range where it becomes very useful. Jump C. So this one has slightly more horizontal range than Jump B does, but not as much as you'd like, really. So you can see, oh, hold on. 1, 2. If you walk back a little bit more, you're sort of out of the effective range here. But if you walk out a little bit more, then, you know, it becomes the best option. So, fastest assault overhead, not including assault jump A into CS. If you're talking about jump B, yeah, and you get to combo off this, right? So that part's nice. Being able to do it while you're rising is also very nice. You don't have to like wait until you're going down on the arc or falling in your assault arc, which is really nice. So that means you can do it as soon as you have the ability to. As opposed to other air normals where it's like if you do a jump A, which is quick, you won't be able to combo off it if you're still rising. Alright. Just like a lot of other jump C moves, it has a charge version. It makes it more plus. I believe if you shield it, it's still plus, because it's plus as all hell. Which is really nice, but that's the mix-up, right? You get to go for a quicker version. You might not be plus on shield, but if you do a charged version, you can get hit out of the air. Mainly used in combos. You won't really see this a lot. If you see this, like, for the most part, if you're gonna see this, it's very likely that you'll see jump A instead. It's faster. By the time it hits in this range, you'll be going down in your arc, on your hitbox, or in your assault arc, so you'll be able to combo off it. So you'll mainly just see this in combos. Same thing with charge jump C, other than the fact that it is more plus, so you can reset pressure in some different ways. But for the most part, it's just used in like mix-ups and combos. Very rarely do you ever see this as like sort of like a footsie tool. But it will happen every now and then. So just as wary that it's plus as hell when you see it. Alright. So, Time to get into like what I think is probably the nitty-gritty of the character, which is the command normals. Really, a lot of these normals, although we have been talking about them and, you know, their very specific uses, are pretty normal. They're pretty standard. This is a pretty standard 2A. These are pretty standard normals. This is standard 2C, standard 5C, etc., right? Very, very standard stuff. However, I think this character really expands when you sort of get into the command normals of the character, right? So the first one is like probably one of the most important ones, which is 6B. This two-hitting... How do you say this? This is this two-hitting move that just gives... That is an extra sword normal. 2 hits a chip. That starts all of his strongest combos. Great range. Absurdly fast for its range. All right, let's be more specific. It's super good. Why is it super good? 2 slashes. The first hit launches, so it means you can combo off it in certain ways, like this. I don't expect me to hit this Rekka. I tried practicing it. Almost. Anyway, when you delay the Rekkas, you're supposed to get the combo. That's one of his best combo starters, is doing first hit 6B into full charge 5C. Because the first hit launches without having to use a jump cancel. It's so nice. So nice for that reason. A lot of characters, their launch has to be done from like something like this, right? Where they do some sort of like 2C into other buttons, and that gets them nice higher up in the air. A lot of characters have to do that. This character gets 6B, which is so nice. The second hit knocks them back. It has certain uses, namely in the corner. Like that. That's the best one that I can think of off the top of my head, but it has some combo potential as well. Fast as in it's 8 frames. However, on hits, only the second hit can be canceled in normals. So... Oops. Did not mean to do that. Canceling into fireball is kind of difficult because you're doing a forward motion, so you need to like tap forward. But so yeah, let's say you can do 6B into a super, or sorry, you can do 6B into a special, but you can't do oops. You can't do 6B into other normals on the second hit. First hit, however, or on block, sorry. First hit, however, completely fine. You can go into normals, you can go into specials. Second hit, however, on block has to go into specials if you want to keep it safe. Okay. All right. Last low, and I think we're done with lows. Which is something that we'll talk about later. 3B. So, kind of does a lot. It's a sword normal, so it adds chip. It's a pretty fast low poke. It just has a lot of recovery. 9 frames. It has some decent range. The hitbox isn't as good as you think it is, but it is still okay, right? Used a lot in combos. Like I was saying before, you see a lot of this. If I was able to hit the combo. There you go. I did hit it. I did not expect to hit it, and I'm not going to do it again. But yeah, when you get into like the delayed Rekka combo and it hits them slightly far away, if you're not able to be in range for 3C and it's earlier in the combo, this ends up being the way that you do it. So super nice because it's fast and it pokes out really far. Has a super good stagger range or stagger window. As you can see, it lasts forever. It's pretty good stagger relative to his kit as well. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I should say relative to his kit. That's a better way to put it. Where, like, a lot of other characters... Well, 2B is a bad example now since it got buffed. But... yeah, you can just see how crazy good the range or the thing is. Hey, Defiant, thank you for the raid. I hope you and your friends are having a very good Thursday. I had to remember what day it was. So yeah. I'm still kind of going slow, so I need to speed this up a bit because I am trying to hit a timing with how long I'm taking to go through normals and stuff like that. So we'll speed it up a little bit. 3C. Oh boy, this is an anti-air. Oh boy, this is an anti-air. Yeah, it goes about as high as you think it does. The heavens. Yes, skyscraper high anti-air. You want to know what that's called? Boom. Actually, let's change the song while we're here. As much as I like Hyde's theme. Just to change things up. Yes, this goes absurdly high. Second thing is that it rebeats, which is crazy, right? But most of its craziness is built into its counter hit potential. Why am I missing where? Oh, there it is. All right. Ah, all right, whatever. Yes, so I just told myself I was going to not spend so much time on this, and then I did. Anyway, yes, this is an absurdly good anti-air. On counter hit, it's untechable, and I don't know if it's until the ground, but forever. As you can see, the great thing about it is that it's also a normal, so you can rebeat it, which is super duper nice. That means you can go for even better combos. However, I'm pretty sure you can still get combos if they're air hit. Whoop. I'm pretty sure there's combos that still exist with 3C, but for the most part, when you use this as an anti-air, you're using this as a commitment. 9 frames! Super fast. Super fast for an anti-air. It's so good. And the fact that you get to rebeat it as well is also insane. It reaches the sky. Its probably biggest problem is that it doesn't go too far forward, but even then he steps kind of forward when he does it. Yeah, there's a reason why it works in all of the what's it called? Let's see if I can get it while he's still in counter it. Whoops. There you go. There's a reason why it works like that. It's because it's 9 frames, just like 3B is. Absurd. Absurd. Just super duper good. Has head involved, but like it matters when you're already crouching. This character's already crouching when he does it. What else to say? It reaches the sky. It's an anti-air. Use it as such. I would say the only learning thing that you have to learn to it is that you just have to learn how to time 3C3A. and then rebeat into like 2C like that. As you can see, I messed it up a few times. What I used to do is when I was playing this character, hold 3C, go back into 1A, or go back into 1A and then do 1C, which will get you 2C. If you play Square Gate. There you go. Alright, jump 6C. You'll see this a lot for carry combos. Stop jumping. This is it's like main biggest use. How am I doing this? I think like that. I'm trying to come up with a combo off my head. There you go. Yeah, its main use is that it carries like to the wall really nicely like that. And because it gets used like that, or because he has this normal, he actually just has the ability for him to carry, like, get extra wall carry in his combos, and sometimes, like, even forego some damage to make sure he goes even farther towards the corner. And I'll tell you why the corner is really important for this character in just a second, other than the fact that you can't backdash away from his crazy sword normals and pressure. You'll also use this in, I don't know if I can set this up, but oops. Yes, in veil off strip combos, super easy to do that stuff. Super easy. Yeah, absurdly easy veil off strip combo. So it basically lets you do that because it's so nice for that. So nice. It has slightly farther range than jump C itself. So like we were saying before, like if you're sitting here and you're like 2 backdash range, you walk out a little bit more, jump C ends up whiffing. Oops. Jump 6C won't. It is super niche in that use. You're mainly going to use it for what I said before, which is that it's going to corner carry people. That's its main use. Jump to C. He got this in ST, right? Oops. It's supposed to be. He got this in ST. This is not one of his original moves. I don't remember if it's ST or Claire at this point. I think it's ST. Man, this is a weird move. This is a weird move for this character to have, but nonetheless, it's really good. The super nice thing about it is that it floats on hit, so... if I can do this. Too far. Alright, well, you've seen the combo before, whatever. The real nice thing about this is that it's 2 hits, so it's super nice, and if you make a read on people, or if you make a read on an opponent that they're gonna do a crouch move, it just leads to so much damage because it's a C normal that launches. Like, the fact that you're like a C normal that launches here, like, is so good. So you just get big damage from this. It doesn't hit cross up. It does. I imagine that it doesn't. I don't know if that's gonna show it. Jumpsuit sees his best air normal for combos. Yeah, also, I remember that it replaced a lot of his air normals, or air normal combos. Oh, I don't remember how they go. I do not remember how they go. But yes, you're right. They do replace. It does good damage, so it replaced his air normals in some combos as well. Super duper good. Whoop. I don't know what else to say about this. It's just a really good button. It doesn't have the, you know, the lower hitbox that 2B does, but from Assault it just sets up everything so nicely. Which is really cool. If you use it, since it's 2 hits, it's almost always plus on block when you from Assault. As long as you don't do it early on, like while you're rising. If you're doing it while you're falling, you're almost always going to be plus. Okay. Dash normals. 6-6P. What do you say about this move? Other than that it links into 2A and it has tumble state on counter hit, like what else do you say about this move, honestly? It's a good combo starter because of that. Ugh. I hate doing delay recos. It sets up throw when people are expecting the special cancel. That's true. I think that's probably, you're probably right in that sense with that. Because it's whoops. Because it's -2 and you can special cancel it, people expect doing that and you can do that instead. Which is really nice. Not a sword normal, so it doesn't do chip damage. It's just a weird, it's like, such a typical 6-6B in this game. It's forward moving knee move, right? But, yeah, sometimes you get counter hit and you get hooked up for it. For the most part, other than that, using it like Rurik said, which using it for like throw bait setups slash take throw setups, you will. It doesn't really have a tremendous amount of use. It's -2. I guess that's nice about it, is that it's -2. I know a lot of Hydes use A Rekka after 6-6B to frame trap. You mean like this? Oh, you mean backwards Rekka. Why did I think a forward Rekka or fireball Rekka? Like that? I could see that. Especially if if they expect a throw, this will start a nice combo. If I can get this. So I remember this being okay, so you're gonna have to remind me. I remember this in the older, in EL. I remember getting away with this a lot. Not this specifically. I used to do it off this, off the 6-6C, which we'll go over in a second. But is that safe? Or is that just like extra nonsense? A lot of the times you'll see it like this, where you go. You can make it plus but good delay, but it becomes mashable. Gotcha. I remember a lot of Rekka shenanigans like that. Second hit of A Rekka if timed right is +1. There you go. Thank you. I remember a lot of old shenanigans like that. All right. Let's get. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. 6-6C. So this is what I was talking about a second ago when I was saying, like, this is kind of the case of a move that stuck around, that is a case of iterative patching, where a character has gotten buffs basically throughout his entire lifespan. And this move was always really good. This move was always really good. It's just such a weird move for a Shoto character to have, right? Just like at any given point, like, you can just side switch. It doesn't cross up, but you can side switch and, like, take away people's positioning. And that's so crazy for a character like this, where if you throw people... hold on. There you go. Alright. Where if you throw people in the corner, you get a combo. So it's like, if you're here, you get to side switch, now you're out of the combo. Or you're out of the corner, I mean, sorry. It's kind of insane. It's kind of an insane move. So, conceptually, the move exists like that, right? Now let's talk about all the other nonsense things about this move. 1, it causes crumple on hit. It causes crumple on hit. So, I mean, sure. Second thing is that even if you don't cross up with it, like I was showing a second ago, it just has great range. It just has great range outside of the fact that if you use it close, you get to cross up. Not actually cross up in terms of you having to block a different way, but cross up in the sense of you switch positions. But it having great range outside of that, alright? So let's just pretend that, like, you're sitting in this range, right? And you're worrying about this. Well, if you're sitting on block, then you can just go right in there. It can also bait VO. Oh, sick, thanks. It baits VO and DP as meaty. Oh, yeah. Forgot about using it off of meaty. Yeah. What else to say about it? For some reason, other moves that exist like this would not be able to be cancelable on block, but this one is. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it made more sense in EL when this character wasn't as good, but now that this character is super good, it doesn't make any more sense. You can cancel it into specials. You can cancel it into force function, which is really nice. So you can really do whatever you want. Like I was saying before, you can cancel this into A-Rekka. This is something that was kind of silly early on in EL, where you would do cross-up, delay the second one, you'd end up on the same side again. Yeah, I mean, as a meaty, like you're saying, as a meaty, it side switches, so it will just pass through some things at times. Folks in chat are letting me know that it beats VO sometimes. That's probably unintentional, like, just like, hey, I'm gonna do this anyway. Oh, when I VO whiffed, sick, sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, this move really does a lot for this character. We haven't even talked about the fact that it also is a sword normal, and even if I, where is it? Even if I take myself out of this, that it does an absurd amount of chip. Look at this. Why? Oh my god. It does so much chip. Whew. Melodois, how's it going, man? Hope you're doing well. To put it in perspective, this is 2B, this is 5C, this is charge 5C, this is charge 5C, right? Look at this. Look at this. Oh my god, the chip. Help, please. Help. This is insane. This is legit insane. How much chip that is. Let me... more perspective. More perspective. More perspective. It does more damage. It does more damage than that. Think about that for a minute. This does more damage than if you just got hit with a 2A. On block. Like, I know that sounds like, oh yeah, it's a 2A. But like, think about that. That's on block. You are losing more damage than getting hit. On normals. Yeah. Alright, we're good here. We're good here. It's a good move. You should learn how to use it. In fact, if you're picking up Hyde, I would say just do it randomly sometimes, see what happens. It's that good of a normal. Learn to use it in footsies like this. Learn to also go back into neutral so that doesn't happen. That will be your first learning curve with this freaking move. Learn to mix this up, right? Because this is -5 technically. You might get away with it on some people, but it has a lot of lag on it afterwards or recovery, so you won't get away with it on a lot of people. So learn how to like do that. Learn how to cancel it into force function. A lot of good stuff there. All right, force function. This is his only overhead outside of air normals. Not sure talked about it, but 6-6C works really well with Hyde Vorpal trade if additional chip. I talked about it sort of at the start, but forgot to mention it since, which is that, yes, his Vorpal trait increases the chip of his normal buttons. We talked about chip in general, but yeah, I wanted to take it off the grid. I wanted to take it off grid so that, oops, hold on. So that when I showed off how much chip it did, I want to make sure that it's not with the Vorpal trait. But, yeah, with the Vorpal trait. Kind of insane. Kind of insane. Kind of insane. I'm sure somebody's mathed the damage for it, but it's absurd. I think this is his only overhead. I think this is his only overhead. I keep forgetting he has air normals now. But back when I was playing him, this was his only overhead. This is sort of the problem, though, is that the normal version of this move is not an overhead. Which is kind of a problem. Hold on. Crouch. What to say? What to say? What do you say about this move? Increases damage in the corner. There's some combo potential for this move, but it doesn't happen all that often. It's sort of very niche in that. In Vorpal, it has better range. It's slightly faster. Better range, slightly faster, and recovers faster, I think it was. It's just, like, in Vorpal, his force function just becomes an overall better move. Other than that, like, the other thing I was showing you before, which is that this exists, which is that you can do 6-6C into a force function. He can't do 6-6C into any other normal. You can only do it in the force function. So, what's nice about it is that you can mix up either doing fireball on its own, Or doing it like that, and then you can push people out farther. You'll see this quite often. Or... I did not mean that. There you go. Alright, last thing. Before we get into special moves, I think. Last thing before we get into special moves. So he's got a throw. Every character's got a throw, right? However, he has the one of the more unique throws in the game, in the sense that in the middle of the screen, he doesn't really get anything off it. But I've shown this before. If he's in the corner, he gets a combo. I'm not going to do the combo because I suck at video games, but that's essentially what the combo is. This is essentially the move that I was talking about, where I was saying, like, this is why he wants to be in the corner. He wants to be in the corner not only because his sword normal's chip, which is super duper nice, right? But it's also because his throw becomes a combo now. So his strike throw pressure, which is kind of whatever early on, right? Oops. Because you're only eating just a regular throw at the end of the day, becomes far scarier when you're in the corner. And then you get a full combo off it that I don't remember how to do the other variants of. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so honestly, like, that's one of the things that kind of puts him over the edge, in my opinion, in terms of being one of the best characters in the game. I think, in my opinion, he's probably one of the best characters of the game in CLR and Claire. This just giving him that extra ability on top of all the other buffs that he's gotten through 4 patches now, I think, just makes him so scary. Everything about his kit fits so perfectly well in this version of the game. Alright, he's a Shoto, so he has shorter Shoto moves, right? So, Shoto moves. That's your Fireball, that's your DP, that's your forward moving kick move, aka Rekka, aka damage filler thing. So that's generally when we talk about Shotos, they have 3 things. They have a Fireball, they have an invincible DP, they have some forward moving special that is used for damage and or range. To go over them pretty quickly, this is his Fireball. It has a slow version of it, but it recovers pretty fast. So as long as it's on the screen, you can cancel it. So you can sort of do the second part of the Rekka version of it wherever you want. B Fireball's faster, but it has slightly more recovery on it. And then it has the same thing, basically. In pressure, you'll learn when to use them in pressure and when to use them in footsies like this. Sometimes the B Fireball is better because it puts them in blocks and faster. Sometimes the A Fireball is faster because better because you're going to risk a little bit of gap and, you know, get better frame data out of it because it'll be used at a farther range, so it travels more, thus reducing its frame disadvantage. C Fireball throws a Super Fireball that has a few hits on it, plus as all hell, and also super good when you do it at the end of a block string like that to reset continuum pressure, like that. As you saw before, half circle forward. C is Palebringer. That's your special. Doing your EX move is just quarter forward C. That's something you're gonna have to learn. Is that when you want to do this move, if you're like me, where you learned as early on to do all of your quarter circles as half circles, so that you make sure you get the input routinely instead of getting DPs on accident, you're gonna have to unlearn that for this. and learn how to do just a quarter forward input, because otherwise you'll get Palebringer, which is his special mode. Mainly use this for resetting pressure. This character has an absurd amount of damage outside of this. I would say absurd. He has a very good, consistent amount of damage that allows him to not need EX moves to tack on to the end of his damage, as well as the fact that for the most part his EX moves aren't very good for damage situations. If you want to use it, if you want to use meter for damage, there's a better one for that, and there's one specific way to use it. And we'll talk about that later. But for the most part, think about using this as a reset tool. Don't be afraid to use this as a reset tool. This is one of your better uses for meter. Talking about the Rekkas really quick. This is an explosion. You can use this to bait people who are going to jump over a fireball off the slow one like this. You can explode it like that, and sometimes it'll hit people. Then you can confirm it with 66C. Other than that, you kind of just use it for combos. Oops. That's a very basic combo that takes no effort to do. That's generally how you use that. There was a way that I was doing it before. I'm not going to be able to do it because I suck, but you use it in that combo too, where you do... Whoops. That's you. After what I just did, you usually end the combo like that for your better damage combos. So it's nice like that. The B follow-up, which is this downward slash thing, sometimes catches people when they're trying to jump over the fireball. But for the most part, you'll use this to cancel into chain shifts. He should be in block. All right. For the most part, you'll use this to cancel in the chain shift to continue your pressure, or you'll be able to like do a normal string, and then reset into EX fireball. That's basically its use for that. It has some combo potential as well. Sometimes when you do it early on, like in a combo, you're able to pick up off of it with 3B, but that's pretty specific and not something that needs to be gone over right now. New to Claire is his C follow-up, which is a laser. Think of this like Eltnum gun super. I don't know the specifics for how to like combo off this, but for the most part, like it's just so good. If you're about half screen, it's easy to pick up off of. Oops. Yeah, I don't know how to pick up off it, just like everything else. However, so good that he just has the ability to like snipe people out of anything. If they're doing anything at full screen, it takes a bit to do the fireball and then do the Rekka, but in exchange, you get to be able to laser somebody from full screen, basically tell them stop. This is more of a, like, as long as you do it once, this becomes a deterrent more than it becomes, like, more than, like, a confirmed tool. The fact that this exists means that people can't do things at full screen, which is basically what you're asking for. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It's still plus as well, so if you use it in block strings, it can be plus, but rarely, like, there's no reason to use that over EX Fireball. DPs. Alright, we have two DPs. We have A DP, and then we have C DP. They kind of follow the same rules as the rest of the A B DPs. The neat thing about ADP is that you can cancel it into CDP afterwards in certain combos. So that's what I was talking about. Is sometimes you can do like Let me do it on the other side so I can hit it. Like that. So you can tack on a little bit of extra damage after it. So that's only doable with ADP. It's an anti-air, but like if you're gonna use ADP, which doesn't have as much of doesn't have as much invul as BDP, and kind of if you're not using it for this sort of very specific like link into more damage, 3C ends up being better. It doesn't have as much head invul, but for the most part, it gives you an much better reward, and the trade is pretty much the same amount of damage. Like at that point, really. Here, since you're getting just this hit is not that much more damage, and the reward is way more. Other than that, it pretty much follows the rest of the rules as ADP versus BDP. BDP is main reversal, one of the few characters in the game that has a meterless reversal that's full invul, which means that it's super useful in the sense of blowing through things that other characters cannot blow through. It reaches higher than ADP, as you can see. This one goes that high, this one goes this high, but that means it's easier to punish on block. That's really the best thing to say about it. Use this as your sort of traditional Shoryuken. Use this as your DP move. In some situations, it becomes a weird combo starter using chain shift, but I don't know the combo for that. I've seen it though. Not something you have to worry about when you're first picking up the character. CDP, C version or EXDP does more damage. It's not the best use of meter. It has not that much more invul. In fact, it's only one more frame of invul than BDP. And BDP is nice enough to leave them right at your feet for Oki, which is kind of insane. CDP doesn't do that. CDP sends them full screen. It does more damage. So in the sense of like being this last ditch thing, if you're going to like risk it all and you need to kill them off that, why not use CDP? Other than that, sort of BDP does around the same amount of damage, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, at the end of the day, like Rurik said, it's a better used the way I was using it, which is that you get to dump your damage at the end of it like that. That's basically its best use. Other than that, really, honestly, even if you feel like you need to really reverse out of things, CDP ends up being kind of wasteful, even if you get it to hit. Use BDP in almost every other situation you want people to get off you. Alright, Rekka. Or what, you know, Tatsu, spinny move, whatever you want to call it. He has two versions of this. He has an A version, which doesn't go as high as the B version. Oops. And has... I'm trying to remember if this was ST or Claire. I think it was Claire, where you get to whiff cancel this now. I don't remember, but you can whiff cancel it. It's not that incredibly useful. I would say early on. I would say early on, if you're like picking up the character, pretty much just stick to using this as combo filler. It has its dumb uses, like we were saying a second ago, where you can do things like this. And sort of mix people up with it. It's really silly like that. Where you can also use it with chain shift to get a slightly crazier mix-up with A DP. Yeah, and yeah, Rook, you're right. It's a funny knowledge check sometimes. Sometimes you just do this. Whoop. And sometimes you, like, can get away with it, even if you do it badly. But for the most part, it's used for extra damage. The real scare with this move is that the B version is the one that you use for combos. I've been messing it up. But if you delay the version, and this is done in combo trials, so you don't have to, like, take my word for it. But there you go. I hit it once. That's nice. But once you get that delay down, it extends your damage. It just gives you so much more damage. So much more damage. And that's one of the really nice things about it. So that's pretty much all you should use it for early on. Once you get crazier, start using it for dumb things. But it's mainly damage, just like any other Tatsu / forward moving special is. C version is extra damage, extra carry. It doesn't really have that much use, honestly. If you want carry, there's better combos. If you want damage, there's better combos. This one sits in the middle ground. I guess you can tack it on to the end of certain combos that you can't do before. But it's kind of weird in that way. I have seen it used as a really weird, like, hit punish from here, but there's also Palebringer, so it's not even good for that. The knockdown is better than CDP Ender. Yeah, you're right, actually. The Oki is good. Okay. Well, there you go. The Oki is good. Generally speaking, I think there's better uses for meter with this character, but if you want to carry, go for it. I think you're at the end of the day. Yes, yeah, I should say that. No, that's a good point. That's something I did not consider. The time wasting aspect with when you're dealing with Vorpal is very good. So if you're trying to do a combo that takes slightly more time, whoops. Oh my god. If you're trying to do a combo that takes slightly more time, you can use the C Rekka and it will let you win Vorpal. And then it gives you Oki and stuff like that, so then there's those extra rewards. But it's just a good way to meter dump since it's a waste to sit on 200. That's a good point too. It's a meter dump if you're sitting on 200. A lot of the times, like with Hyde, you'll accidentally sit on 200 because honestly, like outside of like forcing the need to use meter, like with like C laser, there isn't really a reason to use meter with this character outside of like extensions. Like this character doesn't use normal or use meter in a way that like enhances his playstyle. It just makes it better. Which is a good thing because that means this character exists with or without meter, and that's kind of crazy. The best thing that he got is that he got this laser, so he gets a new tool that he didn't have before, but for the most part the rest of the tools are just extensions, right? If they don't work, like if he sits here and he does this like whole block string and it doesn't work, block string, that was a combo. He does this like this whole block string and it doesn't work, then he sits back in neutral, he's pretty content. But like every now and then he can just keep going by using by using meter in a weird way, which is really nice. All right, Shadow Scare, downward stabby move. Wow, this is the weirdest move I've seen a Shoto get in a really long time. This exists with 66C is one of the weirdest moves a Shoto has ever gotten. But in my opinion, along with the command normals, 66C before this character got so good that it became kind of broken, and 22A, BC, yeah, 22X, really make this character unique as a Shoto. In that sense, this is one of my favorite Shotos that I've ever played. And I honestly mean, like, I don't play him anymore because I don't think I'm good enough to play this character. But this character, when I played him, was super fun, and I think the character himself is really rewarding. And part of that is learning to use moves like this, which this is kind of like a counter poke anti-zoning tool. And it punishes certain things that other characters don't get to punish. For example, having the move that sort of is able to be sit in this range and poke people out like this. If you're sitting at full screen, whoop, you have slightly more range with 22B. 22A has slightly less range, right? So it's super good. Yeah, 22X is hyper-specific spacing control, but at the ranges it works so strong. Exactly. At the ranges that it works, like you can see there's an obvious, like, huge gap here, right? Or, hold on. There's an obvious huge gap here. But when it gets used, it's so good for the space that it controls, which, like, very few characters can just forego zoning, because this goes underneath the ground. This fireball comes out from the ground. There's no clashing of fireballs because it's traveling through here. You're beating it like this, which is kind of insane. The hit is a low, the first hit here, which I was forgetting about when I was going over his lows. But it's only the first hit, as you can see. What else to say about this move? It's used in some combos, but not too much. It has some very interesting uses in the corner when people get hit by it. They do a really interesting bounce. And it has it has a ton of damage because it's a very delayed special. The way that things are balanced in this game is that, like, if you can do stuff like that, like look at that, 4 hits and it does that. It's one of Hyde's best starters in the corner. I imagine so. I don't know the combo off this. This is definitely like... Yeah, that's me doing a bad combo. That's me doing a I'm just putting shit together combo. I did almost 3.5. Literally didn't know what I was doing. The second hit is a fireball, like the little flame that comes out, so it negates other fireballs. So it's kind of weird in the sense that this is a hit and then this is a projectile. It's a really weird move. Super cool though. If you get good at this move, I think you really become scary in these sorts of ranges. It's worth considering that the fireball, I think, comes out in 14 frames, 13 frames, but the hit comes out slightly faster than that. So you can use it in stuff like that, but it is negative, so it doesn't have that use of, like, traveling and reducing disadvantage because of the travel time. So yeah, 22B is a slower version and goes farther and has combo potential and does a ton of damage. 22C, I've also been anti-aired by this move many times. They don't do it on reaction, but it just happens. Yeah, it just has such a big hitbox, like, just covers so much. And you see, like, just covers a very interesting part of the screen. 22C. This is a weird move. I don't remember. I think it was ST where it started bouncing off the wall, but it has this really weird ability of being able to pull people out of the wall because the hitbox bounces off the wall and pulls people that way. Really weird. You can use it to continue pressure, and as you can see, depending on how many times it's... Oops. Oh. Depending on how many times it hits, it can just, like, be plus a billion or be plus a little bit. So for the most part, I would suggest don't use this in neutral, where it pushes them farther away and you have to chase afterwards. You won't really get advantage out of that. It'd be better for you to just use the EX Fireball in this case. However, in the corner, you might be able to do some crazy things with this. Frenchman really gave him geysers, the next game's main character. I wish 22X knocked people back into me. Yeah, it has this weird, like it kind of hits them all over the place. It's kind of wild. It's a little bit weird like that. Nice thing is that even if Hyde gets hit, it keeps it going out. So, you know, sometimes you trade into it and you still get hooked up. It's kind of neat like that. What do we have left other than Palebringer in IW? Oh, you know what I totally forgot? Pogo, yeah. So, I didn't talk about this before because it's kind of not an extension of Air Fireball or Fireball, but it is kind of an Air Fireball where, he can do Air Fireball and basically he does a downward version of his Fireball exploding move, right? The reason people call it Pogo is because depending on which version that you do, it'll either blow you back or blow you forward. So if you do A version, it blows you back. If you do B version and blows you forward. And it's kind of weird because you can't really tell which one he's doing until he starts moving. Because they're almost identical, if not identical. Unless there's something I'm missing, they're pretty much identical. It's real only, like, thing about it is that the first hit comes out really fast, but the fireball itself, which you want to, like, be the part that, like, you get people to be blocked by, comes out, like, way later than the actual hit. Like, this comes out really fast, but the part where you want people to block comes out way later. So using it for Oki is really weird, but useful. So yeah, Rui TK Pogo being plus is really solid. Yes. So if you do a TK motion, which is not too hard, you get it immediately, like this. And like we were saying before, if you do the A version, you blow backwards. If you do the B version, you blow forward. C1 goes backwards just like A does. But recovers way faster. Whoops. So you're able to combo off it like way easy. Way easy. Which is super good. Technically speaking, if you do it high enough in the air, you can still act. This is absurdly specific in terms of its knowledge, but it's a something. Yeah, this is just a quick Hyde breakdown for beginners. I say that, but I've been going into very specific things. So I'm an idiot, really. Suavis Lies. I hope I said that right. I hope you're having a good Thursday, man. So yeah. This is a fun meter dump. This is a really fun move, and it's a fun meter dump because it just creates really weird combos. In CLR, you can end your combos on into 2-3A into 2C Air Fireball. What day is the Mika lesson? I would have to learn Mika, but I'll say something a little bit. I'll say a little bit about that at the end of the stream. Oh, so you can do something. You can do something like this. Oops. I cannot do that. Do you mean like that, where you end the combo into? Oh wait, you mean cancel it out of the air? Or do you mean cancel it while you're on the ground? Oh, in the corner, in the corner. Okay. Ah! Oh, you do mean cancel it in there. All right. That's silly. Oh, that's really silly. Okay. That's real dumb. All right, last move. Palebringer! Oh, not Palebringer. Palebringer! Palebringer. If you played BB Tag, you saw a crap ton of this move. But in this game, you kind of just use it for full screen punishes. Not full screen. But pretty darn far. So it's not that it's like super duper like insane in terms of its potential, but it has the ability to punish people in ways that people don't expect. It being an 8-frame move that is full invul and moves forward through its active frames is kind of insane. So you can blow through things really, really easily, and since it's frame 1 invul, as long as you can get the input off, it goes through some stuff. Yes, Hyde players, or if you played Hyde any game, the only thing that's bad about this move is that it shares a similar motion with Fireball. That's its only problem. Other than that, Palebringer's dope. So sometimes you do stuff like this, and then you get one or the other on accident. Yes, but you can see that the range is super good. But up close, 8-frame startup, does decent damage. This is your unique special move. Alright, IW. It's an IW. It's a nice, like, pillar thing that does a lot of damage. Very easy to combo off of. High cost reversal, I guess. The reason why I call it a high cost reversal is because unlike a lot of the other IWs in this game, I can combo off this one for some reason. Why? One of those other things that you just go, hey, when this character was mid-tier, this was fine, but now that he's top-tier, it seems kind of insane, sort of thing. You get more time than me doing 3C. You can do even more than that. This is one of those definitive he needs it sort of moments, right? Where you just look at it and you go, he didn't even need this when he was a mid-tier character. This is just extra. And you can get rid of this and nothing would change because it's so extra. But if you make a read and you want to murder somebody, this is the way to do it. I will say, weirdly enough as well, is that if you get somebody to like jump in on you, oops. You can still combo off it even if they're hit out of the air because, yeah. This is your, like, easiest way to get, like, 4K damage. Just poop on people. Yeah, where 3C won't reach, which is very... Like I said, one of the few problems with 3C is that it moves him, like, you can't, like, it's like right above him, and it doesn't move far forward. So, in that sense, that becomes slightly better. There isn't much to really talk about as IWEX. It's does a ton of damage. It's nice. Use it to kill people. That's the end of that. Alright. I think that's pretty much it in terms of, like, Hyde stuff. To go over things, like, super duper quickly. This is a character with mid-range buttons that has great combo potential in the sense that he kind of gets to pick and choose what he wants to do with his combos. Does he want to go for damage? He can put damage into it. Does he want to go for corner carry? He can put corner carry in it. He kind of does everything really easily. There's nothing that this character struggles with other than having an overhead. So characters that are very confident in their down back and throw reaction are kind of hard to open up. That's really, like, kind of, other than having, like, really having a pretty, how to say, like, a pretty, having not too complicated of a stagger pressure game. Other than that, he kind of does everything. Like, I don't see where this character doesn't struggle in very many situations. Doesn't have a fast overhead. Doesn't have very much stagger pressure tools, despite being a character that needs to open people up with strike throw mix-up. Yeah. Does this character really struggle with anything? Not really. He has a tool of everything. He is a quintessential Shoto. That's way more fun to play than most other Shotos because he has all of these really, really neat tools like 6-6C, 6B, 3C, or 3C, 3B, having fireballs that explode, having anti-zoning tools, and then having this weird pogo thing that you can add on top of all of that. Why don't I see more Hyde players if he's this good, Sammy? I think he's hard to play. This is a character where at the early, like, sort of, like, when you start playing the character, you're like, this character makes sense. All I can do is, you know, toss fireballs, and I sit back here, and I wait for my moment, and I do this, and I throw people over and over again, and they can't do anything about it, and then, you know, this works a lot of the time for some reason. I don't know why. I think when they see people over here, they're like, I can do stuff, but then you get hit by 6-6C. I can't say that I have not gotten hit by that. I've definitely gotten hit by that. Super good backdash. Super good forward dash. Great jump normals. Yeah, enough is enough. We said it. This character is good. The reason why you don't see this character enough is I think this character is hard to play at the highest tier. This character does not allow for a lot of mistakes. This character does not allow for you to constantly be in bad positioning. You will get eaten up by better characters that do more damage if you make more mistakes. Characters like Wagner will eat you alive if you don't have the ability to stand your ground. You have to have good defense. You have to have the ability to know when to use your vast defensive options. You do have a lot of them, but you have to learn when to use them. You also have to learn how to be patient and learn to use your meter appropriately. You're also a character with no overhead mix-up, so for the most part, when you get put back out to here, your main shield mix-up tool is staggers and rebeating. You can't really break shield once you're here, where other characters get to have that ability, which is kind of annoying for this character. So sometimes you give up grid in ways that you dislike. Other than that, I don't think there's a better... I think this is a perfect character. This character allows you to learn at the early, mid, and high level. There's always a reason for you to play this character and improve upon, because early you will learn how to like basically just press buttons in people's faces and get hits. Mid-level, you'll learn how to like mix your pressure up because you don't have crazy mix-up tools, so you have to use the basics of the game in order to do it. And then later on, you'll be able to like really focus on the incredible neutral that this character has, and then use that sort of to circumvent your kind of weak mid-level or mid-screen strike throw mix-up, and then convert it into some sort of hit where your strike throw mix-up becomes extremely deadly at in the corner. 2-2-B CS:GO burger. Yeah, there you go. Do this. Problem solved. Hold on. Yeah. This character has some ignorance. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I am also saying that the reason why we don't see that many high-level Hydes is because he's hard to play, in my opinion. He has dumb tools, don't get me wrong, but he does not... Every one of his tools are very specific in the way that you use them. 2A, 3C, I would say probably like he doesn't have a like 6B. You're gonna have to learn how to use all of these normals in a very specific way. Yeah, like Rook said, like his tools are very good, but since he doesn't have any scary way to threaten grid break in this range right here, once you basically get out of throw range, once you're outside of this range, you really can't threaten grid break in a scary way. So you're gonna have to learn how to play with grid, play with staggers, make people miss green shields. That's really how it works. I've seen many Hyde players toss a fireball and lose Vorpal. Like a single fireball where they go, I don't know what I'm doing. Toss fireball, oh no, I've lost Vorpal now, sort of thing. So then when they eat the throw, it doesn't matter because they're like, whatever, right? Mid-level players are gonna have to be confident in just... Mid-level players are gonna have to be confident in learning that settling for chip is fine. Like... This is completely okay. Just being able to do these sorts of things and constantly use sword normals is super good because you're getting chip. And once you get Vorpal, you can get way more aggressive with this. As you're seeing, where this thing does an absurd amount of chip. Absurd amount of chip. So yeah. I love this character. I don't mean this as somebody who's streaming on the Aksys channel. I mean this as somebody who used to play the character and now just enjoys the people who are super good with the character. I love watching Hyde players play, man, because this character is so cool as a Shoto. This character is so cool as a Shoto, you know? This is one of the coolest characters that like in terms of a Shoto archetype has been ever created, because it's not just a Shoto that excels in the mid-range, right? It's a Shoto that excels in the mid-range and has unique tools. He has fun combos to do. He's rewarding early, mid, and high level. Early, like, let me tell you how long I was doing this combo. Whoops. Where is it? Like, how long I was doing this combo before I learned a real combo. And then later on, you know, once you get better, you start learning how to put your combos together better and getting more damage out of it, and really putting together your playstyle, which can be very different. I've seen Hyde players that are more of a zoning style, they'll toss fireballs, they'll do this, and then basically once they get around 100 meter, it's like party time, let's go, right? I've seen other Hyde players, they just, I'm in. I am going in. Want this strike throw. Give me the strike throw. Let me put you in the corner right now. I've seen both of those Hyde players, and they both work. Being a character that has an invincible meterless DP is kind of scary. It means you, although this is your butt when you whiff it, this is something that the opponent has to constantly respect. I would suggest at least one of these a match. Ah, yes, a lot of assault heavy Hydes on ranked. Well, yeah, you can blame Jump A and Jump 2C for that. Actually, you can blame Jump A, you can blame Jump B, you can blame Jump 2C, you can blame Jump 6C. Well, like, what do you want to blame it on? You want to blame it on one of these crazy normals? Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. Blame the Wi-Fi. Oh, man. This character is fun. This character is fun. If there's any character that's going to teach you that leaving people in block is okay, it is this one. Because at the end of the day, when I do a whole block string, I am sitting in my preferred range. This character will teach you how to be, will teach you how to accept neutral. Jump 6C is nuts. Look at that. Like we were saying before, right? If you're sitting in this range and I'm showing you, you backdash 2 distances, Jump C will still hit, but you're sitting outside of that range where you're like 2.5 backdashes away. Oops. Hold on. Jump 6C will still hit. There's a lot of fun tools for you to play with. A lot of fun tools for you to play with. So yeah. Okay, so this still took longer than I wanted, but this was a better version of my Akatsuki one. Still. Despite not knowing the character as well, I think this went better than the Akatsuki one. Because I was like more to the point with it. So I am still learning how to do these. So what we decided for the next character that we were going to do, we were going to do like a poll on the Twitters. And basically we're going to pick like 4 basic characters like Gordeau, Linné, Wagner. Basic characters, right? Characters that don't take too much explanation. Yeah, so on the Aksys Twitters, we'll do a little poll and see which character comes up next. Will be basic characters, not too complicated characters. Yeah. Next week, more exhibitions. I've been meaning to